You know Mona Dearly?
What about her?
Oh, please, Dan, tell me what the film's about.
I could not possibly tell you what the film is about.
I think it's about an hour and a half. Well, you know, this is a sick comedy, Drowning Mona.
There is something very odd about this.
Yeah, a murder gone wrong in the small town, backward town of Verplank.
And Verplank is inhabited by a group of characters that are quite odd.
Good evening, friends.
Hey, you've got nice pictures in here.
Everybody in the film, all the people in this town are just reprehensible. They've got some secrets and things to hide.
Bette Midler plays this woman, Mona Dearly, the title character, who dies in the beginning of the movie.
It is called Drowning Mona.
God, you know, in Ruthless People, I wanted to kill Bette Midler. That was the thing. Here, somebody's already done it for me.
She's dead. She's dead. She's dead.
Mona Dearly's dead.
We gotta celebrate.
I die in the first reel, but they talk about me a lot.
What did you think about Mona Dearly?
I guess she was the worst person that I ever knew in my entire life.
Pray for an early death!
She is the Wicked Witch of the West in this movie.
Oh! Get out of here, you jerk!
And I'm married to her.
She's a horrible person, and thus the rest of the town doesn't care about her death.
I just want to express my sorrow over the loss of your tragic loved one.
My loved one?
Your wife passed.
Oh, yeah? Who'd she pass?
Hey, what do you want?
Well, Bobby came by to express his loss over our sorry loved one.
Yeah, I ain't working today.
And of course, my awfulness kind of permeates everyone's life, so they discuss me endlessly.
They're calling Mona's accident a case, which means they don't think that she died because of some slippery road.
So?
So that means there's an investigation. Means they have leads. Phil, I watch A&E. I understand the way cops' mind works. See, they see you standing here, touching me, and the next thing you know, there's the background check and the profile and the psychological workup.
I just came for lunch.
Yet they still have to go through the steps of trying to figure out who killed her.
Did your mother suffer from any medical conditions?
I think she had a personality disorder.
So what do you think?
If somebody rigged it, you'll know.
Everybody in the town hated her and had a reason to kill her. Everyone in her family, me, everyone.
I didn't do it! Put your hands down.
I didn't do it. I'm engaged to Nev Campbell, and her father is Danny DeVito, who's the police officer in town.
The thing is, if he really did kill anyone, it's just because he loves me. I'm not saying it's okay, it's just that's how committed he is, you know, to the relationship.
Sweetheart, there are other ways to show you care.
I'm the rational person in this movie. You know we're in trouble.
Rash is asking a lot of questions.
He's just doing it. Oh, shoot.
Rash is here.
What?
And it's Danny DeVito's job to unearth the mystery of the death of Mona Dearly, who's a person that seems like everybody had a reason to kill.
Well, let's start with the frying pan scene.
Who is she, Phil?
Who's who?
What's her name?
Sweetness. You could have hurt somebody with that.
I don't want to hurt someone, Phil. I want to hurt you.
What's gotten into you?
You. You don't find me attractive no more.
Of course I don't. Do.
You got something going on, don't you, Phil? Don't you? You've been playing Wheel of Fortune with someone else.
Reason for revenge is that she chopped my damn hand off, you know?
Don't touch that beer, Jeff. I said...
I could have been somebody, you know?
You could have been. You could have been a landscaper.
I can't believe you did that. Well, her son,
Jeff Dearly,
is my partner in this landscaping business. And the business is going under, and I think it's his fault. But Mona Dearly, Bette Midler's character, won't let me fire him, basically. I think it's time we start talking about dissolving the business. I mean, it's nothing personal. It's a business decision.
Don't even think about it, scum. As I see it, you got two options. Buy us out or pray for an early death.
So I feel like she's responsible for ruining my business, so the whole world is kind of falling apart, and then so I have to kill her. Then there's this whole cast of characters who are kind of running around that don't really have anything to do with the main story, except that they're kind of suspects.
And I actually feel proud of that, you know, we ended up suspects.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, kind of in a way. Why
Well,
I don't want to be left out. You know, it's the big buzz in town.
Did you do it?
Did I do what?
Did you kill her?
I didn't do it!
I didn't do it either.
Yeah, well, I didn't do it.
Well, that makes for a good mystery, because you know she gets knocked off, and you don't know who done it, who didn't. Everybody wanted to.
I will hunt you down, chasing you to the ends of the earth, pursuing you relentlessly, until I am satisfied that you know what it is to suffer the wrath of God. You will welcome the relief that death will bring. Got it?
Got it.
With a murder mystery on his hands, director Nick Gomez set out to assemble the perfect cast of whodunits.
Okay, very good. Perfect. Okay, now, next.
Well, we knew we wanted Bet.
I'm not sure of why they chose me. I guess they've seen me play witches or something. I don't know.
And she didn't want to be the only movie star in the film, so we just kept on casting up. We sent it to Danny. He liked it.
And I thought, this is a really worthwhile movie. It's got all these crazy, sick characters in it that I like, you know, dark humor. And
Jamie Lee, Nev, everybody that we wanted pretty much liked the movie enough to want to do it.
Good evening, friends.
It was a blast to do it. I was terrified. I was really nervous. It's really different from anything I've done before. But I'm really trying to do that with my career. I'm trying to challenge myself in different ways and grow as an actor and learn new things. And so I was willing to take the risk. I'm glad I did.
We had too much fun. It was criminal how much fun we had. I mean, we just had a ball every single day. We worked very hard. It was very all the days were very tough. We shot very, very quickly, but we had a lot of fun. We laughed a lot.
A lot of fun. Well, you know, Bet and I, this is our third movie together. I called her when I was producing Get Shorty, and I said, you know, this other movie that I like, you know, I'd like you to be in, I'm going to act in it. I'm producing it, and I said, but actually, the scene that I want you to do is not with me, it's with Gene Hackman. She said, better. Yes, my darling Bet. And we always have fun together.
Everybody can't be a winner, Mona.
But I've never been a winner. I've never had my chance.
You're blowing this way out of proportion. It's just a knife-throwing contest.
Yeah. I knew Jamie very well. She's an old friend. And I know Danny. And the others were pretty much new to me. Pretty much. I mean, I knew Nev from her show. But the others were new, and I was really pleased to meet them. They were wonderful.
Amazing group of actors. And Danny DeVito and Bette Midler and Jamie Lee Curtis and Bill Fichtner and Casey Affleck. I mean, excellent group of people. And Danny and Bette and Jamie Lee, I mean, I grew up watching. So it was pretty wild to finally be on set with them and get to work with them and learn from them and watch them.
They're used to everybody being really shy around them or intimidated, you know, and so they're like, they know how to make everyone feel comfortable. So as soon as I showed up and I was just like, it's Danny DeVito, you know what I mean? He was like, just put me at ease pretty quickly.
It was a blast. I mean, the script is hilarious, and it's intelligent and witty and funny and a very interesting look at a certain kind of human being. And I think the whole cast was as enthusiastic about it as I am, and so we laughed a lot.
And this was just one more thing that, you know, doesn't work if you put your toe in. It only works if you dive in, and clearly everybody did. And that's great.
Everybody really wanted this to happen. They were really enthusiastic about the picture, and
yeah, and the crew
was a great energy. Yeah.
Catering was happy about everything. Everybody was happy.
It's edgy and it's funny and it's whimsical and it's yeah, it's a really good movie.
When VH1 Flicks returns, the cast members share their own small-town tales.
Parents and my friends are like bickering and hitting each other with pans and stuff and cutting each other's hands off. So I felt right at home.
And revisit the era of hot pants.
Just horrible stuff with the, like, bolts on it and things. The white one. I kept that white shirt.
And later, the stars travel back in time and reveal the first cars they ever owned.
I would like to get a car someday.
This is Flicks on VH1.
I didn't do it! Put your hands down. I didn't do it.
I didn't do it either.
Listen, just keep your mouth shut. Move over here. Shut up. Where are you going, Rona?
I'm on vacation time.
I find that highly unlikely. Listen, no son-in-law of mine is going to go to prison. You understand?
Hey, Jeff Dearly's over at the cemetery with a gun to his head.
All right, nobody move, all right? Tony, Jimmy.
Oh, God.
I mean, just keep everybody here. Feeds, you come with me. Come on.
Let's just try to keep it
Come on,
back.
stay here.
All right.
In Drowning Mona, Bette Midler plays small-town wretch Mona Dearly. All is normal in this New York suburb until Mona's unexplained death turns this town of eccentric villagers
Let me see your heads.
into a town of bizarre murder suspects.
What?
This cast of characters needed a setting as quirky as their offbeat personalities. So the filmmakers created a mix of fantasy and reality. They created the city of Verplanck.
Verplanck is a real town up on the Hudson.
Verplanck is 90 minutes north of us right now. Just go right up 9A all the way, and you can't miss it. You bump right into it.
The town became famous because the Yugo manufactured their car there, and then when they went belly up, they kind of left all the Yugos for all the people. Everybody drives the same car.
The funny thing about Verplanck is everyone is a landscaper. Everyone drives a Yugo. I mean, and everyone plays Wheel of Fortune. It's a very strange world.
I've met those people. I've met those kinds of people. I've met people like Ellen. I think that's why I was able to sort of come up with certain things for her that I could relate to certain people I've met before. I mean, I think the entire town is kind of slow on the uptake. You know, they're missing a few scruples.
Yeah, I grew up in a place like Verplanck. Outside of Buffalo, Cheektowaga, New York.
I was born in Guelph, Ontario, Canada, which is a small town outside of Toronto.
Yeah, I grew up in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I feel like everybody in that movie lived on my street, you know, so it didn't have to be necessarily a small town, you know. It was like there were some pretty nasty people on my block.
I said...
Parents and my friends are like bickering and hitting each other with pans and stuff and cutting each other's hands off, so I felt right at home.
Small town America, you know, every small town has, you know, dysfunction, and I'm sure mine is not the only one. I'm sure Verplanck is not the only one.
The heat of it was similar. You know, everyone being in everybody else's business and knowing and gossiping, that was similar. And I enjoy that very much. I find it more entertaining than television.
Where is everyone?
Jeff and Phil are at the palace, getting some grub.
Ah.
But if you care to look at the deceased.
Sure.
Wow.
And I think the director really captured all that detail, all that Verplanckian detail in the picture.
Well, I was shooting a TV commercial in Verplanck, New York for Suntory White in the mid-'80s when I was still in college, and it was a town that was very, very poor for a lot of various reasons, and everybody drove Yugos because at the time they were $4,000 a piece, and I spent about a week in this town. I thought it was a whimsical, weird, odd little place, made all the odder by the fact everybody drove these tiny little cars. And I just sort of, when I read the screenplay, I said, well, this is, because it was originally set in Jersey, and I said, well, what if we did this and had them all drive Yugos? And I thought it was kind of a funny visual thing.
In our movie, not in the real town, but in our movie, the Yugos, the cars that they drive, and the people are all, you know, they're all running on a half a tank of gas. You know, it's just a little bit, you know, the burners are a little low.
All those Yugos were rigged. They didn't even there's one of them that had an engine in it, and they tried to use it one time, and flames started coming out from under the hood because no one put oil in the thing. It's
a very small, light car. They only come in a standard transmission, and you feel like if you get hit by something, you'll be killed immediately. It's a very, you know, small little light. You can practically pick it up.
You know, it's a really good car. I mean, it handles really, really well for the box that it is. You know, it's like a really nice car. It's like.
Obviously, the challenge was getting the Yugos because at the time, the Yugo Car Corporation, their offices are in Belgrade, and at the time, NATO was bombing them, so they weren't returning our calls. So we had to go to all these used car lots all across the country and get them sent to us piecemeal.
They were either pushed along Flintstone style, you know what I mean, or else they were rolling down a hill. You notice that all the streets were hills, so you'd be rolling out of the driveway or rolling down the street.
Yeah, they pushed mine. It wouldn't
I had a
run.
cutout in the front of my little.
He had a Barney Rubble type thing where he was like doing a foot thing to get it going.
I did drive a Yugo, and I had a fun experience where I hadn't been driving stick shift in a long time. This car was stick shift, and in one of the scenes I had to I was crying my eyes out, and I was supposed to drive up to this police station and get out of the car and go into the station, and I did all of that, and then I came out and I heard cut, and the crew was gone, and they were all running down the hill chasing after the car because I forgot to put the car in park. So. Yeah, I was really good with that. It was really bright. But they kept it in the movie. I was an idiot, and I embraced it, and they kept it. So
I drove it to the set from the trailer, you know. It's the way the town got its name. You know, when the transmission falls out, it makes that sound. Verplanck.
They're really good cars.
We got bigger fish to fry, pal. Get your ass over to the other side here. Come on.
With the town of Verplanck and its signature wheels ready to go, it was time to primp up the villagers. Flashing back to an undefined decade through shaggy hairdos and wild wardrobes.
Well, we don't know when the film takes place, and the thing that I told everybody, the production designers and the wardrobe people, is that don't have anything on the set that's newer than 1990.
They picked things from the rack the day of shooting.
Yeah, they went shopping. They had my stuff. They had like doubles and triples of some of those shirts.
What you took, right?
Kidding me?
What you took.
Oh my God, they were like,
I did.
It was like you cut them out of the bedspreads from a Holiday Inn. They were just horrible stuff with the like bolts on it and things. The white, I kept that white shirt. How could, you know, I have to...
The epaulettes on the shoulder.
It's a memory of don't ever look like that.
So, what are you trying to say?
Well, I had one super fine memory, and that was about 8 minutes after I wrapped it, I re-permed my hair straight, and I'll always remember that as... I remember driving home, because it was a night scene, it was all that night stuff, and I was driving home, the sun was coming, I couldn't take my eyes off the mirror thinking, oh my God, it's back! It's straight, the perm is gone. I didn't feel like, you know, KC and the Sunshine Band anymore.
The final ingredient in creating the offbeat feel of Drowning Mona is the film's rare mix of musical hits. The soundtrack includes artists from Gladys Knight and the Pips to Dave Mason to Three Dog Night.
Soundtrack was very, very funny.
Great. Is it on CD yet? We ought to buy it.
I don't know. The first time I heard it was when I saw the film, you know, just a couple of days ago, and I love it, love it.
It was all that old rock and roll. That was fantastic. Three Dog Night, right?
For some reason, when we were working on the screenplay, I always thought of Three Dog Night, oddly enough. Who knows why, you know? I'm tossing and turning at night. I'm thinking Shambhala to myself.
He said right away that he was going to use all Three Dog Night music. Of course I said, why? No, I didn't.
So we just included that stuff into the screenplay, and when we put it up against picture, when we were done, it just seemed to flow beautifully. And then we just sort of kept the spirit of the same era alive in terms of the 70s pop and popcorn and all that good stuff.
Remember the first car you ever owned? Was it a sporty convertible or a broken down jalopy?
Penny Marshall and I had the same car, same color, same year, and we would pass each other. You know, we were the only two in town with that stupid car.
When VH1 Flicks returns, the stars tell all about the first wheels they took to the streets.
The fishes look at that dog battle. Wherever you go, you know that she go to.
This is Flicks on VH1.
She was proceeding southbound on Route 9 when apparently her vehicle was involved in a 21107. What? She drove to the river. She's dead, White.
Do you remember your first car? What about the cast of Drowning Mona? What were their first sets of wheels?
I had a Dodge Dart convertible. I bought. It's 1964 Dodge Dart convertible. That was a good. I still have that.
My first car was a Volkswagen Cabriolet. Yeah, that I bought for myself after my first job.
I bought this old, beat-up old '69 Cadillac that was as beautiful as God. I'm still rebuilding it and still falls apart.
My first car was a '66 Buick Special. Yes, it was nice. I bought it for $150 when you could buy used cars for $150. Oh boy, did I just date myself,
old enough
huh?
to drive that.
I know.
Don't rub it in.
My very first car, you don't want to hear this, I learned to drive when I was 30. I didn't learn to drive as a kid because I was in Hawaii where there was a really good rapid transit. And then I came to New York and there was also really good rapid transit, so I never learned to drive. I was scared to learn to drive. Then when I moved to LA, I was 30 and I had to learn, and someone bought me a car. My manager bought me a car. It was a Jaguar, but it didn't work very well. So I unloaded it for a Honda, and I was the happiest. That Honda, I loved that car. And I'm not a spokesperson for but that car, I never had that car in the shop. I drove that car until it was in the ground, till the bumpers were falling off it. Penny Marshall and I had the same car, same color, same year, and we would pass each other. You know, we were the only two in town with that stupid car. We loved it.
He's gonna go handheld on this.
In the summertime when the weather is high.
Oh, you know what? I should get rid of my gum. This is really rude of me. Does anybody have like a tissue paper or anything?
You got women on your mind.
Gum? Do I have gum in my mouth?
That would have been really just tacky, you know?
Everyone says they like it, yeah. I don't know if they tell me, like, hi, how are you? I hated the film, and...
That would be the other twist to the movie.
That's the scene that didn't make it.
Yeah, I know.